Now, on the line is a caller. There's a caller on the line. I think it's the Reverend Lionel Cracking. Good afternoon, Reverend Cracking.
Crapping.
Yeah, sorry?
It's crapping with a P.
Sorry, my apologies.
Most people do.
Yeah. Good. Well, look, you've called Tour Radio, of course. Now, I understand this. You are calling, this is controversial, but you're calling for more beheadings in general. Is that because you say, if we bring an end to necks, we can at last, and let me make sure I'm getting this quite right, we can at last be free from the tyranny of collars. That's something you're calling for, the banning of collars. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. And good afternoon, John.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon, Cornelius.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon, Cass.
Not in.
And good afternoon to whoever that weird bloke was who put me through, who I've not spoken to before.
Yes.
Who I don't know who he. But good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Now I know that as a vicar, I'm going to sound like the turkey who voted for UKIP. But I am very much against collars, John.
Yeah.
Because they are divisive. So I actually don't wear my dog collar very often, unless I'm headed into London to Clapham. But I think that it puts up a barrier. A collar is a barrier. And it's a way of dividing the population. We talk about white-collar workers, don't we, and blue-collar workers, and dog-collar workers. That's more in Vauxhall than Clapham. And I think we should get rid of them because, unlike some of us, John, I don't see collar.
Right. Stay on the line for me. It's interesting that you are a vicar one. It's interesting that because I want to bring in Peter now, who isn't. Hello, Peter. Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking.
On Radio 4 on Saturday morning.
Stop talking.
Bye-bye.
Stop talking now.
Bye-bye.
Peter's on the other line. Hello, Peter.
Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to say, good afternoon to you, John.
Thank you.
Good afternoon to your listeners. Good afternoon to the Reverend.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I know that you said Cass wasn't in, so we pass on pass that on to her when you say. Good afternoon, Con.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, the listeners. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to everyone who's listening. Look, collars, I've heard what the Reverend has to say. Yeah. I respect that, and I've read a lot of what the Reverend has to say on these things. But the point is, there is a certain standing with a gentleman who wears a collar.
Yeah.
The derivation collar comes from 1300. The shirt originally came with a ruffle in Shakespeare's day, and now we have a collar. It's smart. It does the job. It's just a ticket, and I say keep them.
Well, interesting. The Reverend is you're a vicar. You're a vicar Reverend.
Yes,
and you talked about dog collars, of course. Now this is from when Peter brought the history up, but the history of dog collars, of course, is from when dogs were trained as the clergy, weren't they? Initially, before humans were vicars. And the reason that stopped, that's just you know this, is that they used to drink from the font and hump the choir boys' legs, of course, something which very much human vicars carried on later. But I wonder if we, as when dogs stopped becoming vicars, why we just didn't get rid of the dog collar then and have human collars.
No, I completely agree, John, and I think that, there's no point us sort of getting on some high horse, or standing at some pulpit and telling people what they should do. We shouldn't do that either.
Yes.
And we shouldn't. Good afternoon, John.
Good afternoon, Reverend.
Good afternoon,
Reverend. Good afternoon, it's Pete here.
Good afternoon, Peter.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Peter.
Reverend. Good afternoon, Reverend. What I would say about it, you say you don't want to be prescriptive, and you say you don't want to tell people what to do. That is exactly what you are doing. I put it to you: you don't want to see collars, you don't want to see shirts, you want to see bare bottoms. Bare bottoms in your congregation.
That's a question, isn't it? Do you want to see bare bottoms, Reverend Lionel Crapping?
Of course he does.
Why not?
Good afternoon, by the way.
Not?
Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon, John, and good afternoon, Cornelius.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Cornelius. Good afternoon. I can't get enough naked bottoms on my pews.
Yes. So just be honest about it, Reverend. You don't want collars. You don't want. Can I finish?
There's no point in talking over each other. We can't hear. Let one at a time, please. One at a time. Peter, good afternoon, Peter.
Big rosy bottoms. That's what you want. Big rosy bottoms in your church. Big rosy ones.
They're God's bottoms.
Yes, they are
God will do as he pleases with them. Listen, if God is everywhere, God is in those bottoms.
Well, I agree, and I like a jolly big rosy.
I think
bottom.
I'm going to have to come in because I think what you're doing is buttock shaming, and that
Yes.
is not acceptable.
No,
and I apologise if you are,
celebrating.
if you want to go to your safe space. This is a trigger warning. We have a vicar and a man talking about rosy bottoms at the moment.
Sorry,
it's all right. It's just we have to put a trigger warning out there. But you are buttock shaming, aren't you?
No, some issue is not to be sniffed at. What I'm saying to you is, you take the Beatles. The Beatles, for example.
Yeah.
Wonderful, lovable, mop-top, scouser types, not, certainly lovable chaps, rock and rollers, and they wore a lovely collar, button-down collar.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with it?
Well,
I
now...
think the whole language is one of violence. We talk about collaring someone, don't we?
Yes.
Collard greens, which are cabbages that have been beaten up in the back of a police van.
Well, the police, let me come in here. The police, of course, when you got arrested, they felt your collar, used to be what they used to say. And criminals, but that didn't work. Criminals.
I'm sorry, they felt your collar.
Yes, they did. And the criminals then just stopped wearing shirts like that, and then they couldn't be arrested anymore. And where do we get cholera from? Collars, of course, wasn't it? It was when the police were feeling the collars of the criminals, and it would pass the cholera on.
What was it?
And that's where you get cholera. So
Come. 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 No, come. No.
good afternoon, Peter. By the way.
Good afternoon. Come. It's nothing to do with that.
Come, bottoms.
It's nothing.
Are you, Reverend, one question, Reverend, are you a collar denier? Are you, it's a simple question, are you a collar denier? Yes?
I'm saying that we need to see more evidence of these collars by stripping everyone down.
Yes.
And
take the clothes off.
Looking at their majestic bottoms.
I think you're
right on my
what's happening? You've ended up agreeing with each other.
Yes.
Well, isn't that a love? And John, isn't that a wonderful thing, you see? And that's because we're on the radio and you can't see our collars. Or anything else
well done.
Doing.
Well, good after. Well, look,
you brought us together.
We've won. We've won time there.
Yes.
We're out of it. It's a very interesting debate, though. I mean, do we need collars really in post Brexit Britain when we've got weather vanes and
shut up their bottoms.
Stop.
You can't get enough, really.
No.
Why not?
Hello?
Could you... Good afternoon, by the way.
John,
good afternoon.
Why don't you come to the vicarage? A bottle of wine.
Could we...
Perhaps Ella Fitzgerald.
Loosen our collars.
Just sum up the debate for us in one word, please, Peter.
Me?
Yes?
Ringo Starr.
And Reverend Crapping.
Felt, John.
Felt your collars.